what happened here.
Welcome to the Movie Summary channel. If you like the featured video, please watch it in the theaters near you, or buy or rent the original movie from the links provided in the description. Like and share the video as it will help us out, and comment on what movies you like to be featured next. Movie Summary does not condone piracy and follows and complies with the fair use law. Now, let's watch the featured video. Simply sit tight, relax, and enjoy the video. Be aware that there is heavy spoilers ahead.
Where is it?
Holy.
Peter Wayland activates his android, David. Over the course of their conversation, the two of them ponder their relationships with their respective creators.
What would you like me to play?
Colonization Vessel, Covenant, December 5, 2104. Android Walter works with the ship's AI mother to maintain operations while the 15-person crew and 2,000 colonists aboard remain in stasis for their multi-year mission to Orky 6. Walter is forced to initiate an emergency crew revival when an unexpected neutrino burst severely damages the ship. Captain Jacob Branson is incinerated when his cryosleep pod malfunctions. Chris Oram becomes the new acting captain while Branson's mourning widow Daniels acts as Oram's second. While repairing the ship's exterior, pilot Tennessee picks up a rogue transmission of a woman singing. Mother traces the signal to a nearby planet capable of supporting human life.
Oceans, landmass, high likelihood of living.
How did we miss this? We scanned the entire sector.
Oram convinces the crew to investigate the planet to see if they can set up their colony there instead of traveling another 7 years to Orky 6. Daniels voices her objection that they do now know what threats might await them on the new planet.
Hey, you ever done a lander drop before?
Fuck you.
Tennessee monitors the expedition from the Covenant along with Upworth and Riggs.
A little less of the old man, sweet tits.
Tennessee's wife Maggie Farce pilots a lander to the planet's surface.
We're gonna keep expedition security protocols in place, keep those doors locked and sealed. Sergeant Loeb, let's go find our ghost.
Farce stays at the lander to repair communications with the Covenant, while Oram leads his wife Karine, Walter, Daniels, Sergeant Loeb, Rosenthal, Anchor, Cole, Hallett, and Ledward on reconnaissance. Karine lags back with Ledward to do an ecology workup. Ledward inadvertently releases small spores that burrow into his ear. Oram leads the others into a crashed engineer ship. Hallett releases small spores that go up his nose. Daniels and Walter find Dr. Elizabeth Shaw's Prometheus identification and realize that the transmission came from her. Karine rushes Ledward back to the lander when he collapses. Oram and the others also head back when they receive Karine's distress call, and Hallett collapses too. Concerned about quarantine protocols when Ledward begins vomiting blood, Farce seals Ledward and Karine inside the lander's medical bay. A neomorph violently bursts out of Ledward's back, killing him. The neomorph kills Karine and breaks out of the medbay's window to attack Farce. Farce blows up the entire lander while trying to shoot the alien creature. a second neomorph bursts out of Hallett outside. The neomorph bites off Walter's hand when Walter moves to protect Daniels. Anchor dies. The first neomorph also attacks everyone, but is frightened off when android David arrives to fire a flare. David leads Oran, Daniels, Walter, Lope, Rosenthal, and Cole through an open expanse of engineer corpses to take shelter from an ion storm in a necropolis.
My name is David.
David explains that he and Dr. Shaw arrived at the planet as the only survivors of the Prometheus. David claims that the ship they traveled on carried a pathogen designed to infect all life forms, which deployed upon landing. David adds that Shaw lost control of the crashing ship and died. In actuality, David intentionally released the virus, exterminating all engineers on the planet.
Nothing beside me.
David and Walter engage in a discourse about their origins, love, and how their programming prohibits them from creating.
Machines.
A neomorph decapitates Rosenthal. Oram finds David attempting to communicate with the neomorph. Over David's objection, Oram executes the alien creature at gunpoint. Oram demands that David tell him what is really going on.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
Unable to communicate with the expedition team because of the ion storm,
Great.
Tennessee moves the Covenant dangerously close to the planet. Once contact is made with the ground team, Tennessee departs in another lander to extract the survivors.
Immutable.
Oram learns that the neomorphs came into existence as a result of David's experiments to create a new life form using the black substance recovered on OV-223. David tricks Oram into examining an alien egg that releases a facehugger. Oram later dies when a chestburster tears out of his body. Walter discovers Shaw's corpse and realizes that David was experimenting on it after having intentionally killed her. Walter confronts David, who explains that mankind is a dying species that doesn't deserve to survive. Walter tells David he can't let him leave the planet. David deactivates Walter. The facehugger attacks Lope. Cole cuts the creature off of Lope, causing acidic blood to burn Lope's face. A xenomorph appears and kills Cole. While searching for Oram, Daniels discovers the research revealing David's experiments. David confronts Daniels with a threat that she will suffer the same fate as Shaw. David and Daniels fight until Walter, having reactivated himself, comes to Daniels' rescue. Walter seemingly defeats David in combat. Daniels, Lope, and Walter make it to Tennessee's lander, but the xenomorph stows away on the outside. The four of them eventually force the alien off of the lander and successfully return to the Covenant. While everyone recovers,
Thank you for saving my life.
a xenomorph bursts out of Lope in the medical bay. The creature then kills Ricks and Upwith in the showers. Daniels and Tennessee hunt down the alien and eventually jettison it into space. Daniels puts Tennessee back into stasis as the Covenant resumes its original mission to reach Origi-6. Just as she is about to return to Cryosleep 2, Daniels realizes to her horror that Walter is actually David.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
David assumes control of the Covenant. David regurgitates two facehugger eggs that he places in stasis alongside the human embryos intended for colonization. David surveys the chamber of colonists in Cryosleep before recording a ship's log as Walter claiming that everyone except Daniels and Tennessee perished in the solar flare incident, but the ship has resumed course for Origi-6.
Signing off. Security code.
What happened here?
Thank you for watching our featured video here in Movie Summary. I hope you have enjoyed watching our videos. Please like and share this video on your social media and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Comment down below on what movies you like to be featured next, and click the notification bell so that you will be notified every time we post new videos. Bye for now, and see you in the next upload of our next videos.
All of this is to start our new life. Where is it?